All right, let's go. Cool. So today's call is going to be about. I wrote in our text in our group chat. What is your current reality and why? And there really doesn't need not much needs to be said with that statement. It's actually a really deep, big picture statement when you really think about it. What is my current reality and why? And I'm actually going to talk about a couple of things that will lead into it, including our convictions and our limiting beliefs. And this is probably, information that maybe you've heard in passing on maybe different calls, things like that. I think I'm going to be able to give it to you guys today as my mentor gave it to me. That really like starts to just light bulbs are going off for you. And that's my goal. That's my hope for today, is to, as we do every single call, is to provide you guys with, a different perspective. Like I'm really not here all right, let's do another training. All right, Abby's going to motivate us. Like, that's not what these calls are about. We don't want to be jumping on these calls just to get, once a week trained or to get motivated. I gotta get re-fired up for my goals. Like, no, like we've got to learn how to self-coach, self-motivate ourselves, by ourselves. And, obviously we're in this for multiple different reasons. We have, an incredible support system around us, but at the end of the day, like great, effective leaders, individuals, they understand and know what makes them tick. They know themselves. They understand what their convictions are. And when they're down and out, or even when they're on top of the world, they know themselves and how to respond in any given circumstance or situation, because they understand what's important to them, what they value, and they can lead with that moving forward. So in order to recognize, and just really submit and accept your current reality right now, because a lot of times I know personally, I've had, times where I was in denial of maybe my reality, and I didn't want to face the truth of like, Abby, you've been kind of on this road, with, dealing with the same BS on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Just kind of ignoring that, just kind of like shuffling it under the rug, not really facing those truths about myself in my life and the outcomes that I was getting. And I didn't really understand and realize that a lot of it majority it had to do with what was important to me, what my core values are, what my convictions are. And I'm going to read you guys a couple things on this call. I'm going to cut to announcements at the end. I forgot to do that. That's okay. But I wanted to just touch on really quickly our call from last week. I hope that you guys took some time this past week to just write down, get clear on what success and results mean to you, identifying and defining those things, because it's going to be very hard to stay focused, to not get distracted as easily, to not play the comparison game, to, stay the long course, to keep showing up. If you haven't clearly defined what success means to you, what do results mean to you? Everybody's version of success is different. Okay, so it's very important that you get clear on those things. It's very clear that you write down and get and understand why you're doing this. What are your reasons? Your reasons are probably different than my reasons. Okay. So get clear on that. If you don't know your reasons and you're here to build a business, you're here to help people, it's going to be very hard and difficult to consistently help those around you that you want to put in position to win and to thrive in this new economy if you aren't clear on your reasons, but you're trying to help them achieve, their reasons, their goals. Okay. We also talked about, do you have a daily plan? Your power list, your non-negotiables. Are you clear on what your non-negotiables are on a day-to-day basis? Okay. And are you executing on that? Are you taking time out, every week, maybe it's every day to really learn to execute and to, separately learn, separately execute, and separately, think and reevaluate. And that's the last part. Are you taking time to reflect? Are you taking time to review? Are you taking time to self-evaluate? And biggest thing is track and measure your work, your plan, and your actions that you're taking. Okay. So I'm not going to go into detail. We talked about that last week. But I wanted to just recap really quickly to make sure like we're not just showing up to these calls. All right, cool. I'm on another call, getting all this great information. But we don't do anything with it. Like if you want results in your life, it requires you to take action. okay, and to self-audit the work that you're doing. So today's call, I wanted to get into, what is your current reality and why, okay? I want you guys to write the statement down. The things that you don't know about yourself will always hold you back. The things that you don't know about yourself will always hold you back, okay? Every single leap, every single breakthrough, every single movement, level up forward, every increase in your life, whatever, no matter what that looks like, okay, it is because you challenged your convictions. Every single leap and bound, breakthrough, level up, increase that you've had in your life, it's because you challenged your convictions. You challenged your belief system, okay? And I think it's really important to recognize that your convictions equal your reality. Like whatever you believe is what you're going to do. Whatever you believe is going to dictate your actions, which therefore create your results. So if we want to figure out maybe why we're getting certain results in our life, why we have a certain reality that we're living, we need to backtrack. We need to get to the root. It's not just to take more action, it's to get to the root problem, which is our convictions. Where are our beliefs coming from? Why do we believe certain things? What are we so convicted on that maybe at a subconscious level, we don't even realize that this is what's controlling our entire life, our decisions, and obviously, the outcomes that we're taking in. So are y'all ready? We're about to get into it. I hope you guys are ready for this call. I'm going to share my screen so I can actually show you some old convictions that some of them I've definitely like shaved those off. And then others I'm still working on, just being transparent. Okay. As I'm sharing my screen with you guys, I want you to, yes, write these down because maybe you can relate to them too. But as a call to action, leaving this Zoom, I want you guys to take time. Like, this is not just Abby giving you homework. Like I'm doing this too. I actually wrote some of these are that I got from my mentor. And then some of these are my own. Okay. But I could relate to what he was saying too. But the homework leaving this, we don't want to call it homework, but like, self-assessment for you is to write down your old convictions and then replace them with new convictions. And it's not going to be an overnight of like, all right, I've got these new convictions. Like, you are deeply rooted at a subconscious level as to why you do the things that you do. Okay. It's going to take some time, but the first step to creating any sort of change is awareness and then acting on that awareness. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope you guys are ready. We are about to rock and roll. Okay. Old convictions. I'm going to read some of these off to you and kind of break them down. So maybe you can relate. Okay. First conviction that I could definitely relate to is I'm not good enough. Or maybe, when I first was doing this, even when I'm talking to maybe older individuals that are in their 40s and above, I still sometimes think this. I'm like, why would they even listen to me? Right? I'm too young to be doing this. I'm too young to be, sharing this information or leading them or guiding them. Okay. Or I'm not good enough. Like, I don't know this, or, I'm not as good as so-and-so or whatever. Old conviction does not serve me, makes me ineffective, makes me doubt myself. Okay. We don't want any of those. So write these out so you're aware. So when you like catch yourself saying these things or thinking these things or feeling these things, it's like, that's an old conviction. That's not mine. I don't need to accept that. Okay. Next one. When I'm stressed, I should take time off. This is a big one because a lot of times, like, I've been guilty of this. When I'm stressed out, I'll take time off. A lot of times so Peter Vu, he talks about this, and he was saying how a lot of times when people are stressed, they will take time off. Maybe they'll go on vacation, or they'll just, take the weekend for themselves, or they'll sit back and just watch a whole series of Netflix or, movie series or whatever. They'll go to happy hour, they'll whatever, like they won't focus on their business, or they won't focus on, maybe what went wrong, or backtracking, or, self-reflecting. Okay. So when I'm stressed, I should take time off. Okay. We'll go back to this one. The next one. I don't have enough or any experience. Sales isn't for me. This whole network marketing thing isn't for me. Trading is never going to work. I mean, there's so many different ways you could scale it, right? trading isn't going to work. I'm never going to build my portfolio. I don't have enough cash flow. Like I always seem to find myself, without money. Like you could say this in so many different ways, right? Put the ones that like stick out for you. I've definitely felt this before. Okay. Oh my God, this one's huge. If you build a business, I'm sure you maybe have thought this at least one time. I don't have a good territory. I don't have a good area. That's what's holding me back. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that before. Okay. I used to like think that in a way. I was like, well, I don't really know anybody here. I'm new here. Like, oh, I didn't grow up in Arizona. Right. Or maybe if you're in a hometown, you're like, none of my friends like really know, all my friends, like, they don't think like me. They're not going to do this. We'll get to that. Okay. Just know that is an old conviction holding you back. Next one, great people would never join me. I can't find or attract A players. They always say like recruiting up. I can't find or attract A players. Great people would never join me. Huge, huge conviction holding me back. Okay. Maybe some of you guys on this call have thought that before. Maybe you're thinking it right now about your business, about, you keep looking at the past to show you your future based on the results that you've gotten. And like, baby, like that doesn't even matter. Like all that matters is where you're going. All that matters is your vision in your future and what that looks like. What you did in the past is irrelevant to where you're going. Okay. The next thing, I get someone started, but they always seem to quit. This one was a big one. I get someone started and they always seem to quit. Well, if that's your conviction, then that's probably what's going to come to fruition. I actually just made that up. You should write that down. If that's your conviction, it's probably going to come to fruition. Okay. It's probably going to happen, but that's not always the case. You just got to shift your perspective. I felt this in the business. I felt this with my trading. Okay. We all go through seasons, but let me share it. When I stall out, okay, maybe I get into a funk. Maybe, I'm not at my peak, which we're not always at our peak. Look at Bitcoin. Kurt's talking about it going, under 20K. You know what I'm saying? So, when I stall out, I immediately think like I've lost my mojo. Like I'm not good anymore. I was only good in the moment. Like I'm not actually good. I just got a lucky break. Anybody ever think that? Like I have definitely thought that. I definitely still think that. Like it'll come and go. And the thing about it is it's like fear, right? Fear doesn't ever really go away. You just choose to accept it or not. You just choose to buy into it. This next one, my mentor didn't answer me. I probably did something wrong. I cannot begin to tell you, this one was my own that I wrote down. Okay. I cannot begin to tell you, Alex can tell you straight up, like if somebody doesn't text me back or leaves me on red, I would like seriously take it personally. Like I would be like, oh man, like I messed up. I shouldn't have texted them that, or I did something wrong, or, some silly like thing that I blow up in my head. And it doesn't have to be related to this. It could be anything that, when I say this comes to mind for you. Okay. And then the last one that I wrote down, I'm sure there's probably hundreds of different convictions, maybe even thousands. Okay. Not all of them are bad. These are just a few that are probably holding us back. Okay. I'm not getting results because my mentor didn't teach me this. I've thought this before. I'm not getting results because my mentor didn't teach me this, or, I didn't learn that, or, it was taught to me the wrong way, or this is too complicated, whatever. I'm not getting results because of this. Okay. And as soon as this is like really, really important, as soon as you or anybody that around you, whether they're in the business or not, start to point the finger and blame and make excuses and complain and justify, like I can tell you right now, they're probably on their way out the door. Like anybody that's in that frame of mind, they don't understand where their convictions are coming from. They don't understand this process. They don't understand that they are operating in their most ineffective state when they're blaming, when they're complaining, when they're trying to justify things, when they're not taking personal responsibility and accountability. Okay. So this is probably something that may be holding you back as well, if you've ever thought that. Okay. And typically these are just an example of old convictions when we think that way, we're typically, the bottom percent of maybe our company, maybe the bottom percent of our potential results for ourselves. Okay. Anybody, I'm going to move on to the next part here, but anybody have a conviction that stood out to them? Like maybe it's on here, or maybe they thought about for their own that they want to type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. That's fine too. I'm going to get to the next part here, but if you guys want to, if anybody wants to share, go ahead and share. Those were just a few that really stood out to me, and definitely know that they've been holding me back, or have held me back.
One of them for me was not being able to multiply my trading account. That's one of them.
Yeah. That's I think that's a lot of people, for sure. I have definitely felt that way before. Eric said, I was just having one of your convictions a couple weeks ago. Sales isn't for me. Yep, in there. Okay. If you guys have any more, just type them in the chat. Crystal said, or Sam said, I'll never be able to make the time for this. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Crystal said, or I have to learn how to trade before sharing with others. There's another great one. Those are good ones. Yeah, keep them, type them. If you get them, just type them in the chat. I'm gonna move on, but I'll read them when we come back to it. So, all right, we've got old convictions. Now we're maybe starting to become aware of some of these things. Okay. The next step is, now that we've got that awareness, now that we, are, maybe you haven't accepted it yet, that's okay. But that next step is to accept where you are, kind of like submit in a good way to, okay, like I surrender, like this is where I'm at. As ugly as it may be, as painful as it may be, as uncomfortable as it may be, like this is where I'm at. I need to move on. So I'm not going to let these continue to hold me back and be in denial. That's the next step. Okay. Is to really like not only become aware, but accept where you're at. Because you can't go somewhere that you haven't even, like, if you don't even recognize where you are right now. Okay. And I want you guys to recognize too, this is like this whole thing that we're doing, like we may put things in a box and say, I trade, I do this in crypto, I trade, binary options, or, I build an e-commerce store, I build the business, and, we separate them and put them in their own little categories and, whatever. This whole thing that we're doing, life is about self-discovery. Okay. It's, and I know we talk a lot about like, we hear it a lot when it comes to like what we do here and everything, we got to get results. Well, that's why I said in the beginning, if you keep hearing that from people, you're going to base results based on maybe what you're thinking, your projections of what that person thinks results are. But if you haven't defined what results mean to you, you'll constantly be chasing that idea of what results mean to other people, maybe people that you may look up to in a way, or respect in a way, or trust in a way, and you take their word for things. But if you haven't identified and defined what success and results mean to you, like you may find yourself in this cycle, this vicious cycle of, being unhappy when you don't hit certain results because it's not up to par to somebody else. Like my results, my version of results are different, I can tell you right now, than all of yours, okay, in its own way, based on my convictions and my perspective and my experiences that have shaped those things, okay? But this is a journey about self-discovery. Like as much as we hype, I don't want to say hype, but as much as we, talk about getting results are obviously important because it moves things forward in our world, making progress and seeking a solution to have a resolution for whatever we're doing. But at the end of the day, if you haven't identified what results mean to you, it's constantly going to be like this dog chases tail type of scenario, if that makes sense. So self-discovery, right? The actions probably won't change as you start to discover more about yourself. Like you might have different, like your actions might change by inches, right? But your convictions will. Your actions may stay the same when it comes to your trading. You'll probably still continue to show up to go live. You'll probably still continue, hopefully you're taking your trades, okay, whether demo or live. You'll probably still continue to prospect. Hopefully you're doing that on a daily basis. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing on these calls. We're here to build a business. We're here to serve. We're here to lead. We're here to grow. We're here to help people make an impact, okay? Your actions probably won't change very much, but your convictions will. And when your convictions change to allowing you to be more effective and on purpose, you will start to notice your perspective changes as you're looking at the things that you're doing. Okay. I forget the quote. I'm not going to say it because I don't remember it, but it was like, when you change, I'm going to say it, when you change the way that you see things, the things that you see will start to change. That's it. Okay. So your convictions will probably change as you go, like when you make a conscious, purposeful effort to discover yourself and what makes you tick, what triggers you in a good way, what triggers you to be ineffective, to go into you and your problems and get consumed by that and stagnate out. Okay. It's very important that we go on this self-discovery journey and you recognize that there is no, like, you can have goals and deadlines, but there really is no finish line to discovering yourself. Once you really do start to piece things together, then it's really time to audit who you are and really share that story of who you're becoming with other people and inspire them to take those necessary actions to figure out, the right things in their life. So your convictions equal your reality. Okay. Whatever you are doing, it's because that's what you believe. Like, we do not do things that we don't believe in. Okay. So I'm going to share with you guys my screen and give y'all the new convictions. Okay. And again, as we're maybe rolling through this, feel free to share some of, maybe you had an old conviction that you're aware of and you replaced it with a new conviction. Okay. So some new convictions. I'm trying to base it off of what we wrote up here, but I'm not going to go back and forth. Just know that I have it right here. I'm not good enough. I'm too young. We'll replace that with, I can get anybody to succeed if I put in enough passion and enthusiasm. Age is irrelevant. I can help anybody create success if I have the right perspective, if I have enough passion. Like, passion, heart, enthusiasm, people love those things. Why? Because it's real. It's real. When was the last time your reasons showed up in your work? When was the last time your reasons showed up in your posts, in your conversations? Okay. In the work that you're doing. Age is irrelevant. Look, Paul's here, Nancy's here, like, just giving you guys an example. You can help anybody get started. Age is irrelevant. As long as they see the power of this and they're looking for this, you just got to have enough conviction in why you're doing what you're doing to know that you can help them. Because it really, in this new economy, doesn't matter about your degrees, doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, what you know, that's all irrelevant. One, it's not even about what you know, it's what you've mastered. Most people haven't mastered the game of money, so they probably need this. Okay. Next one, sales isn't for a specific person. It's for anyone that is dedicated. So replace that conviction. Sales isn't for a specific person. I used to think success was just for like certain people. And anytime somebody that came into the business and, got to a certain rank or hit a certain result before me and they were in less time than me, I always was like, yeah, well, that person, they just had this going for them before they got started, or they were already into this, or like just some stupid made up story in my head. But the thing about it is, regardless if it's true or not, it actually doesn't matter because it's still holding you back. Still holding you back. It's still an old conviction. Okay. So sales isn't for a specific person. It's for anybody that's dedicated. Okay. Anybody that's committed. Next one. When I focus on something, whatever that is, good or bad, it will multiply and magnify. Anything I focus on gets bigger. Whatever I focus on, doesn't matter what it is, good or bad, problems, distractions, growth and progress. Okay. It will multiply and it will magnify. Anything I focus on gets bigger. And you can play this so it affects you and helps you in both scenarios, when you have problems in your life or when you're, making progress. Okay. The next one, stress. This is important. So we talked about it up here. When I'm stressed, I should take time off. Okay. I actually saw this when he said it and I was like, I kind of take a step back too. It's not saying don't reflect. That's not what he's saying. Maybe sometimes like you do have to take a step back and just be like, whoa, like what's going on? I'm so stressed out, especially like I've been stressed out to the point where like, I wouldn't say I'm hyperventilating. I think that would take it a little far for, I actually won't even say that. I think I've had a panic attack one time. If I could just be real with you guys, when it comes to this whole thing. So if you've ever like been there, it's okay. And you need to talk about it, you can open up. I'm here if you feel comfortable. But I've definitely been like very stressed. I've been like very like, wow, Abby, like, can you keep going? Like, this is a lot. Can you really do this? But he said stress is just a lack of results. And that's why I was stressed. I wasn't I wasn't happy with myself. I didn't feel like I was growing. I didn't feel like I was making any sort of progress. I didn't feel like I was getting results. And I probably didn't identify what results meant to me back then, even maybe 6 months ago, even maybe a week ago, which I have a story to share with you guys. I'll share at the end. Alex, please remind me. So stress is just a lack of results. And what you need to do instead of just, all right, let me take some time off. I'm going to go, sink my head and escape in something. Your problems are going to be back. Your problems are going to still be there when you get back. That's the problem. People go and try to like escape their problems because they're stressed, but they don't realize just because you change your environment temporarily or maybe permanently, maybe you move somewhere, your problems go with you, right? You don't need to take time off. You need to maybe take a step back and step up your thinking, step up the way that you see things, shift the way that you see things. You probably need to just, for a lot of times I was like, instead of me just like stressing about this, I was so consumed in like Abby and my problems, and I'm very ineffective when I'm in that state. I'm not taking action. There's no movement, and motion creates emotion. So if you want a different emotion, a different feeling in your life, you've got to start moving. And so that's what, taking action. That's why we said taking action here. Okay. So when you take a break and then you come back, your problems are still there. So just be mindful of that. When you feel stressed, it's probably because you're lacking some sort of results in your life. And if you haven't defined what results or success mean to you, you're going to still probably stress out because you have no idea what makes you happy, what fulfills you, what makes you tick, what, gets you going. Okay. All right. Next one, let's move on. A players, when they say recruiting up, like people, when I think of A players, I think of people that are going to come in here and not make excuses, that are going to use their reasons to take action, not be the reason they don't show up and do anything. We've all seen those people before. A players are ones that are coachable. They're committed. They show up. They communicate. Okay. You have to identify what does an A player mean to you. So when you bring somebody on, you know how to identify, oh, this guy's going to be a headache. Oh my God, this girl's going to, just feed me with one complaint after the next. Okay. A players will show up when I become one. So if you want great people to start getting involved in listening to you, okay, become one. Become that person that you want to bring on into your business. The qualities, the characteristics, okay? I am always in control, I am always 100% in control of my recruiting and results at all times. And this can be a hard pill to swallow. It was for me because I'm like, well, I'm doing all the work. I'm still doing all the work and I'm not seeing the results that I want to see. And like, that's like, and it's a very hard conversation to have sometimes when I talk to, myself, when I talk to people on the team, because sometimes like, it's not that I don't know what to say. It's, I don't know exactly what you're doing and the thought process that you have. And probably in this case, your convictions about yourself and what's possible. And whether we believe it or not, your convictions are showing up in your conversations with people. Okay. I saw this on the I Am Elite page yesterday, and it really got me to think about like, if you ever are thinking like, man, why am I not seeing results? Like I'm doing all the work. I saw somebody post the I Am Elite page about DeLorean, or no, it was the DeLorean page. And they posted about it. Somebody said, anyone else getting clobbered the last couple of days? I can't figure out where I'm going wrong. Okay. This person is probably thinking they're doing all the right things, which they may probably are doing all the right things. Maybe. Okay. But I don't know. If somebody tells me like, Abby, I'm following all the things that you're saying, but you're not getting the results, I can tell you right now, there's probably things that they're in your blind spots that you're not aware of. Maybe one, maybe two, it probably has a lot to come down to your conviction about yourself, about this, and about where you're going. Okay. So Patrick Kenny posted, send some homework. Let's see what you're doing. The reason why I bring that up is because Patrick Kenny doesn't know if you say that you're doing all the right things, but you're still not getting results. Like there's some intangible variables that maybe we can't see that's probably determining why you're getting certain results in your life. Okay. So I love that Patrick was like, send me your homework so we can see what you're doing. So maybe we just need to take a step back. If you're like, Abby, I need help. Like, I don't know where I'm going wrong. Send me some screenshots of the conversations you're having, and we can go through them and see what's missing. And that can be an uncomfortable conversation sometimes, but it's okay. Sometimes I don't even want to message Mike and Christian because I'm maybe too prideful about like, oh, I don't want to go to them because I want them to know that I already know this. Guys, that's the dumbest way of thinking. It's okay to not have it all together. I'm that person that thinks that that's another conviction. I'm that person that thinks that they need to be perfect and have their shit together. No. Like, I do not. I may come on here and like, have these calls put together and stuff and whatever. Social media can be deceiving sometimes as well. But like, I absolutely do not have my shit together. Like, I'm following my plan. I'm working my plan. I'm working on Abby every single day. But it ain't perfect. But we are making progress. That's most important. So I'm in control of my recruiting, of my results. But again, go back and define what do results mean to you. Okay. I always set everyone up. This is another conviction, new conviction. I always set everyone up for success. Okay. So if you go back to this one here, when I get somebody started, they always seem to quit. Okay. This one, I always set everyone up for success because I'm a product of the product and I'm focused on their reasons to succeed. Their reasons to succeed are probably different than my reasons. And not everybody that gets started wants freedom and independence. Maybe they haven't looked at it like that yet. They don't want financial freedom and to travel the world. Not everybody's reasons are those to succeed. I know a lot of ours, we say that those are ours, and I don't deny it. Like, I believe you. But maybe that's not your reason right now to succeed. Yeah, I want financial freedom and travel the world, but maybe it's like, I need to get out of my job that I don't like. Or maybe it's not even that. Maybe like keep your job because it's not a bad thing to have a job. Maybe it's, I just need an extra $600 a month so I can afford this, so I can get some cash flow into the market. Like, you've got to define what those reasons are for you. And then you scale, you build on those reasons as you achieve them, as you grow. Okay. So I'm focused on their reasons to succeed. If they quit after I set them up for success, that's on them. Okay. But it also comes down to like the type of people that you're recruiting. If you're recruiting people that are like D players, C players, like, yeah, 50-50 chance they're probably going to quit because they don't have the right mindset. We didn't set them up with the right expectations, especially if we're leading with profits all the time. They're going to come in here and think that they're going to make all this money or make that money. And it's like, nah, man, it's not how it works. And they get mad that there's a process. It's like, all right, this ain't going to work anyways. Okay, stalling out. Okay, I said up here, when I stall out, I feel like I've lost my mojo. Okay, stalling out only happens when I'm consumed with myself and my problems, and I'm not focusing on the bigger picture and what practical action I can take right now. I know that's a mouthful, but I'll say it again. Stalling out happens. It's not that I've lost my mojo. That's not it. Like, you still got it, whatever that it is for you. Okay. So just, if you ever thought that before, get that out of your head. Okay. It's not that you've lost anything. It's you've just maybe lost your perspective on the situation. Okay. Stalling out only happens when I'm consumed with myself. Like, I am the most ineffective. You are the most ineffective version of yourself when you are consumed with your problems, when you're consumed with you and what stresses you out. Okay. That's why we've got to move into a positive state, a state that allows us to be effective, to be solutions oriented. Okay. So focus on the big picture, focus on what practical action I can take right now, because motion creates emotion, and we've got to create a new state, a new feeling, a new level of awareness and perspective in that moment when we're feeling stressed, when we're feeling like we can't do something. Okay. My mojo is always there. I just take my focus off of it. That's it. I get distracted. I don't believe anymore. I let my current results, maybe my stagnation, show me what I am. That's important. You can't let maybe what's happening in your world right now or what happened in the past tell you who you are. That's not true. You have to identify who you are and then go be it. Okay, my mentor is okay. So this one up here, my mentor didn't answer me. I probably did something wrong. Okay, you can do this in any way. Abby, your mentor is busy. Don't take it personal. Check. Got you. Okay. Last one. this last one's important too. I'm not getting results because my mentor didn't teach me this. Wrong. And even if they didn't teach you, if it's to be, it's up to me. That's my mentality. My mentor, this is how I give grace to. I've been trying to give grace to people because I know what it feels like to be on the other side. When you know that you're giving it your all and people don't understand, it's very important to give people that leeway, that sense of grace. My mentor gave me all that they could with what they knew at that time. Okay. If it's to be, at the end of the day, if it's to be, it's up to me. I still got to make it happen. I still got to figure it out. Okay. So, type any, if you guys have any new convictions that came to mind, any old ones that you wanted to share, feel free to type it in the chat. I'm going to move on to this last part. I'm going to give you a couple of questions and we'll wrap up this call. But when you are operating in your new convictions, and like once they become new convictions, now they're just like, that's what you believe. That's, become a part of like your identity and your subconscious framework, like your foundation. It's not really like new convictions now. It's just who you are. And we want to get to that place. Okay. And when you get to that place, that is when you are the most effective and on purpose version of yourself. And that's how I've been starting to like shift my lens of viewing things is what I'm doing allowing me to be ineffective or effective? Is what I'm doing right now, is the way that I'm seeing things allowing me to be on purpose or on myself. Okay. All right, let me see. Cool. All right, how we feeling, y'all? I'm gonna give you guys this last part. Let's type a 2 in the chat. Are we getting some value? Are we getting somewhere? Can you guys relate to this? Is there any you guys related to any of the convictions that I said, whether they were new or old? How we feeling? Like to see it. Okay. All right, let's go. All right, last part here, guys. What are all right, so 2 main questions I want to ask you guys when we'll wrap up this call. Okay, leaving this call, it's so important that you take some time to identify. You don't have to go through the entire list. It'll probably come to you now that you're aware throughout the week. Like there's things that I have questions that I answer about myself or whatever, and I don't know them all right now. I'll go in like a brainstorming and I'll write them down. But then throughout the week, randomly, I'll think about it when I'm washing the dishes and I'll go write it down again. So you'll probably have things that will come to you throughout the week. So don't feel like after this call or whatever, you need to know it all at that moment. But a question you can ask yourself, what are your convictions? What are your convictions and beliefs that are holding you back? What are the convictions and beliefs that you have that are holding you back? Okay. Whether it's about money, income, how we make money, okay, relationships, sales, business, network marketing, the business model, success, results, trading, the markets. Write those things out. Okay. Who are you talking to? Who are you listening to? Who are you learning from? What are you consuming? Okay, all of those things and probably more are dictating your convictions. And whatever you're listening to, whatever you're learning from, whatever you're consuming, whoever you're speaking to, okay, those things are either strengthening or breaking that conviction bond that you have. And that could go either way. That could be on convictions that are holding you back. That can be convictions that are moving you forward. So whatever you're taking in, it's either strengthening your convictions that you already have, or they're breaking them down. And you got to be very mindful of the things that you're taking in, because I find myself scrolling on stupid social media, watching stupid content, and has nothing to do with anything. And it's like, Abby, you already wasted this time, but you've probably like taken in information that is that has maybe triggered certain subconscious parts of you that is strengthening certain beliefs. So maybe you're sitting there, you're stressed out on the couch because you haven't gotten the results that you want and you're feeling stagnant. And you just keep thinking about how you haven't gotten results. And then you go to the side and scroll on social media and you're just watching social media and 30 minutes go by. And then you're like, well, shit, it's been 30 minutes. I still don't have any results. And then you're just like, and then it's just back into this cycle. Like we've got to flip the script And one thing that I can say too, we're going to talk about this next week, is action, like getting into a state of action where you can like get out of that emotion, because all it is an emotion. It's just a feeling that you have. Like those convictions are only a part of you because you've just strengthened them so much over time, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to take some time for you to break them down and recreate and replace them with new convictions. Okay. But taking action, like and this is what we're going to talk about next week. So next week, like if you got value from this call, next week's call is like, I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm just being real. Next week's call is going to be like insane. When I tell you about some of the stuff that I've been learning with even Christian and Mike and Jason, but also Peter Voog, that's that I have access to his like academy. It's all about knowing yourself. So next week's going to be good, but taking action is like, even if it's like small actions, getting you from, okay, 0 out of 10, 10 is like, I'm on fire, I'm ready to rock and roll, like I'm going to crush anything. And 0 is like, I'm in my most ineffective state. 0 to 1, you just have like, if you can't even conceptualize getting to a 10, you have to just focus on getting to 1. So what is one thing that you can do if you're in that slump that can get you from 0 to 1? I know that whenever I take a shower, I don't know why, taking showers, I have my best thoughts and ideas, and like, not even like motivation, just like it just like rekindles my desire. I don't know if it's like a reset, but also doing the dishes. It's like, I don't know, it's just whatever, for whatever reason, doing those things, like I just kind of have a reset for myself, and it will get me from that 0 to 1, 0 to 2. Or even like going out for a walk, but it's hot as hell outside. So maybe in early morning or at night, like before this call. Okay. All right. So that's really important. You just want to move the ball forward. Don't think about getting to a 10, because you'll probably take the action once you're at like a 5 or a 6. So what can get you to a 1? What can get you next to a 2? What can get you next to a 3, 4? And these are in times when you're just like, I'm in my slump. Okay. So what are your convictions, beliefs that are holding you back? And then the last question, this is really important. What were you doing when you were at your best? And this doesn't have to be related to business. This doesn't have to be related to trading. It could, but when you were at your best in your life, there has probably been at least one time, probably dozens of times, but think about one time in particular when maybe you were when you were at your best, when you were doing your best. Okay. And you were getting certain progress and results made in your life. Some of this can, and I'm gonna ask you these are like secondary questions. But the main question is, what were you doing when you were at your best? What was your first thought in the morning when you were at your best? Who did you maybe connect with throughout the week? What were you doing as far as personal development and action taking? Okay. Did you have strong reasons that you were mindful of and repeating back to yourself, or written down or aware of? Okay. What was your morning routine, or in your night routine like when you were at your best? This is a big one. Were you taking weekends off? Were you getting pumped that it was the weekend? I don't really get excited that it's the weekend. It's just like, it's just another day for me to do what I got to do, for me to grow, for me to, live my life. And I get it. Like, if you're working, things like that, maybe you work on the weekend, maybe you don't, and like, that's your free time. So maybe you look forward, like if you do look forward to the weekends, what are you looking forward to? Okay. Making it around what? So when you're at your best, answer those questions for yourself. Okay. I know for me personally, when I'm at my best, I always have my strongest reasons written down. I'm always mindful of my strongest reasons. My reasons will usually get me out of bed in the morning when it's 5 a.m., dark outside still, and I'm hot because I haven't turned my AC on yet, or whatever. Okay. I always had strong reasons written down. I have a clear end goal. I'm very clear on my goal and where I'm going. I have great people, amazing people around me. Okay. Like, we've been going to church, making sure I'm in that type of environment with great, positive, influential, impactful people. Another big one is I didn't let the little things bug me. I didn't let the little things bother me or frustrate me. Okay. Whenever I get into like this state, maybe some of you guys can relate, where it's not all the time, it's like specific times throughout the month, maybe. But I'll let like little things just like irk me, like frustrate me, like the littlest stupidest stuff. And like, I know like 5 seconds, like a minute later, I'm just like, that was, why were you frustrated about that? Okay. I notice when I'm in those moments, like I'm so beside myself, it's ridiculous. It's like, Abby, get off of yourself. I'm so consumed with my problems. Okay. So I didn't let the little things bother me. I'm on purpose and off of myself. I'm reading consistently, even if it's just 5 pages a day. This is a big one. I'm always a part of some sort of like program. This is what Peter said. I'm always a part of some sort of program or mastermind. And I've noticed when I'm not like on my stuff, like guys, I'll be honest, like when it comes to being a product of the product, like just my trading and my progress in the markets, in my portfolio, like this is the most consistent, probably best results personally that I've seen in like in the last 5 years. 5 years, okay? Don't compare your journey to my journey. I'm just saying for the last 5 years, it's probably been the most consistent, productive, results oriented moment for me. And I think it's because I've been plugged in to the platform, like diligently, consistently, taking the practice trades, taking my live trades and understanding that I'm only following my risk management. I'm only following my plan and my strategy. Okay. So when I'm always a part of a specific program that's helping me gain results, like staying plugged in is what I'm trying to say. That keeps me, on focus, on purpose. And then the last couple ones is I'm always connecting, or I'm always connected with my mentors. This doesn't mean you need to be, blowing up my phone. I'm not blowing up Mikey or Christian's phone, but I am every single week, maybe every other day. I am speaking with them about, specific calls or, maybe perspective or help. Okay. Or giving them, I'm not coming to them with problems all the time. And if I do, I always have a solution in my back pocket. Okay. I'm writing down and tracking pretty much everything. Like if I'm doing something and it's going to adhere a result, I'm tracking it. I'm writing it down. Okay. And then the last one is I'm sold out on my reasons. I'm sold. You're not going to do anything that you don't believe in. That was like the first thing that we said on this call. You are not going to do anything that you don't believe in. Okay. If you are not sold out on your reasons, on what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you're going, the impact that you can make, the results that you can create for yourself, the results and outcomes that you can help for other people, your story and where you're going. If you're not bought into that, those reasons, I can tell you it's going to be very, very difficult for you to not only create results and success that's lasting, that's consistent, that's sustainable, but also while we're here to help other people do that as well. If you aren't sold out, what makes you think that the person you're going to help is going to be either? Okay. When the going gets tough, you think that they're going to keep going, or you think that they're going to cave and quit. Okay. When I'm not at my peak, I tend to stray away from these things. So maybe these things you can relate to everything I said. Maybe there's things I didn't say that, you're like, man, if I'm not doing this, like I'm not at my peak, I'm not at my best. Okay. And also, be mindful of your perspective. So all of this, all these things that we went over today, it's not really about like if you know this or not. Like you have to be aware of it. If you've never maybe heard it this way, or it was maybe never packaged this way before for you. Okay, cool. Now you're aware of it. But it's not really about like knowing it. It's about, have you mastered it? So have you mastered being able to flip the script, or replace your old convictions with your new convictions? Okay. But yeah, guys, I'm going to stop the recording. I hope that's, where's the recording button? There we go. I'm going to stop the recording.